Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unscaled Travel Show. We're so happy you joined us. You had a lot of choices out there. Not really. We know you're in the trunk. And that's okay, because I'm your host, Jeremy Long, here with my co-explorer and co-host, Amy.
Hi.
We are coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. And we got a great show because we are talking about what I feel is one of America's truly underrated tourist destinations, and that is the Windy City itself, Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. And we have visited Chicago a number of times over the years. You, especially, you have gone there a number of times, even this year. And you've become just like this little expert on Chicago. And it's so cool because
I would not say expert, but
okay.
I have been around Chicago a bit.
She has been around Chicago a bit. Moving on from that. We are, focusing in on first-time visitors there, landmarks and attractions, culinary places, some wonderful food in Chicago. Oh, my gosh. Thinking about it right now.
I know.
I can just feel
I know
myself
exactly what
fatter.
you're thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's a great sports and entertainment city, and there's a lot of family and natural things to just kind of enjoy around that area. So we are going to jump right in because with a city, I mean, as large as Chicago, it is is it the third biggest city? I believe Chicago's the third biggest city, somewhere in their top 5 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there. I don't know where exactly it ranks.
But there's a lot. There's a lot in a little bit of area. And tell me, I mean, being someone who goes there now, like for work and different trips, you go there pretty often. Mm-hmm. When people first step foot, it's their first time there, what is that quintessential thing that people should go do? Where should they take off their shoes and run like Phoebe from Friends down the sidewalk? Where should they go?
Well, my first recommendation is very much a touristy thing. But again, if it's your first time there, you have to go see it. And it is the sculpture in Millennium Park that most people call the Bean informally, but its actual name is Cloud Gate.
Explain what?
Cloud Gate.
It has an actual name?
Yes, and why that's its name, I don't know. It looks like a giant metal coffee bean. And by giant, it is enormous. You and I were both surprised when we went together and looked at it by how large it is, and you can walk underneath it. Mm-hmm. There were a good number of people standing underneath it actually when we went, but I think it's something you just have to see because it is like mirrored, I guess. It kind of has like an optical illusion to it, and it's just really like I can't even explain it, but it's interesting. So go be a tourist, go see the Bean.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people that live in Chicago will probably just roll in their eyes. They're like, oh, the Bean, whatever. It's the most basic thing ever. It is actually the first time, or maybe second time you go see it, it's hard to wrap your mind around it. You're just like, this thing is, number one, it's huge. Number two, it's a giant legume. Like, and I know it wasn't the artist. It wasn't the artist, his
intention?
vision to create what is a giant lima bean or whatever. But that's how a name, that's a great name for it, the Bean, It's like, we asked the artist to create something and he created a bean for us.
A mirrored bean.
A mirrored bean. Which is, if that was in Vegas, people would just be like, oh yeah, of course it is.
Totally, right?
Yeah, we got everything else here. Why not a giant bean too? In fact, I don't understand why we don't have a replica of the Bean.
Well, you know what, saying that, I think maybe we should lobby for it.
I think we should. I mean, we have the Eiffel Tower. We got the Arc de Triomphe. We have
a Statue of Liberty.
We got a Statue of Liberty. Hell, we got the entire skyline of New York.
Right.
Why don't we have the Bean here?
Our
Bean, there would be a club inside of it.
Yes.
Probably a gentleman's club because this place is dirty sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. The Bean sits in a bigger area called Millennium Park, where, the beautiful Crown Fountain and there's gardens. And it's just kind of this area where if you go on any given beautiful day, beautiful in Chicago, you'll see, groups of school kids going there for field trips because there's so much to do around that area. You'll see just, families and stuff enjoying the park, street food vendors, a lot of time festivals, art and music festivals being had there at Millennium Park. And it's a great, I think, city center for people just to kind of gather around. The Chicago Theater is not too far off. And another place, Navy Pier, is not too far off from this area where you can kind of make a day of just visiting and everything. So if you're a first-time visitor, this is probably one of the first stops you'll want to go just check off your box. Navy Pier is probably the second one.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, if people from Chicago are listening, they're probably like, ugh, you're sending them to the same place everybody else does. But there's a reason people go to these places. And I think even you went to visit family in Chicago, and that's where they took you the first day you were in town, because it's fun and it's nice, and it's kind of this, as you said, easy entry into Chicago before you start getting like down into some truly Chicago things. But this is like a really just fun place to go hang out for a day, get acclimated a little bit with the Chicago culture before you go see a baseball game or go eat some pizza, which we did both.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that, too. And, kind of group these together because they are very, you can go with your family, go with the kids.
Right.
They have the Centennial Wheel. The Children's Museum is in the area. And beautiful lakefront views. And, sunrise or sunset, you're going to be with the water coming in. It's kind of this beautiful thing. And people are like riding bikes and jogging and people are on boats out in the water and some kayaking and all that. So you can do all of those things while just kind of being in the same little area, not having to travel too far from one thing to another. Another thing, because I'm nerdy, I like the history, and you love architecture.
Right.
I know you do. In another life, you were George Costanza. You wanted to be an architect. Instead, you're hosting a radio show with me. I'm sorry. I don't know. But an architectural river cruise,
right,
I think is a must for people, in their first visits to the city.
I completely agree. We did it, and aside from just seeing some really interesting buildings and hearing about the architects and in some cases why they designed it the way they did or how it's significant to the city's skyline, you're also just getting a really interesting perspective of the city because you are riding a boat through kind of the downtown area because a river does flow through Chicago and kind of bisects it in a couple of places. So you're just getting to see Chicago from a different point of view, and it's really neat. Most of the river cruises only last about an hour and a half, so it's not going to take a huge chunk of your day. But I will say, if you go on a sunny day like we did, either wear a hat, bring some sunscreen, something, because you're in an open boat and it can be pretty hot. And I think we both walked away with a little bit of a sunburn. Totally worth it, but bring a hat.
Yeah, especially if you are of the lighter hues.
Yes.
And you
like
burn
me.
easy. When you got a light skin or you're Irish or just, white and violent or something like that, you need to bring sunscreen and a hat because there you go. But I mean, it'll take you by famous places, Willis Tower and the Wrigley Building, Merchandise Mart, which, we'll get to the Mart and a fun event. They do art at the Mart. And probably two of the most famous towers that you see, the honeycomb towers that stand right next to each other, the Marina Towers.
Right. I didn't realize what they were because you see them in pictures, you see them in movies, all the kinds of things. I didn't realize what they were until that trip that we went, and I had seen these buildings multiple times, but they're apartments.
Yeah.
These round cylinder-like buildings are apartments with parking on the outside. It's very interesting.
All right. We're going to go to break, but I want you to look up how much these apartments are in Chicago and if we got a new place to pretend that we're going to move to. We're talking all things Chicago. It's the Unscaled Travel Show. We will be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long, your host, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Amy Long.
Hi.
Be sure to go on the YouTube, like the kids do, and check us out, Unscaled Travel Show, our new YouTube channel, taking you along for the ride on some of our adventures. Also, for all of our past episodes and interviews, find us online, unscaledtravelshow.com. Brand new website. So, be there. Do that. We're talking all things Chicago, some landmarks, some great things to do. Moving on in topics, we have got to talk about the delicious food.
Oh, yes.
In Chicago. Oh
yeah.
So good. So
yeah.
Sorry, I started drooling and looking off places. Our favorite place, hands down. If we're looking for pizza, deep dish pizza, there are a lot of options in Chicago. A lot of tasty options, I'm sure. Our favorite, Pequod's.
Pequod's Pizza.
Pequod's Pizza is, the one located near Lincoln Park is, oh man.
This pizza is so good.
Right
I think about this pizza at least once a week. It is by far the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life, and I have eaten a lot of pizza.
You think about this pizza once a week?
At least.
Oh my gosh.
At least. I love this pizza. In fact, I was just looking at their website earlier, and they ship frozen pizzas, so I might be ordering us some.
They ship?
They do.
Oh my God. Why do we need to know that? If you are in the mood for pizza, there is the classic New York versus Chicago. Like who has the best pizza and all of that. And of course, East Coast folks, understandably, a little bit biased toward their location, but people in Chicago will throw down anytime over deep dish and what belongs on pizza, all of those different things, what toppings go on there. There's a bunch of places. Gino's East, Lou's Pizzeria, Pequod's. Have you ever heard of this one, though? Chicago Pizza and Oven Grinder. They have a pizza pot pie.
What?
Yeah. Also, it's near Lincoln Park as well. But it's made from scratch. Triple race Sicilian-style dough, homemade sauce, a blend of cheeses, sausage, and whole fresh mushrooms. I know you don't like mushrooms, but it's a pizza pot pie.
Like a Hot Pocket, but it's a pizza?
Yeah, but it's
good.
Big. It looks awesome.
Well, I am going to Chicago next month again. I might have to go try that.
Go check that out there. Another place, like if you are down for hot dogs, Polish sausage.
Sausage?
I'm drooling here. We're talking about food. I am drooling into the microphone. Polish sausage. Now I can't speak.
Would you like me to say it for you?
Go ahead.
Polish. No, I can't say it. Hilarious.
Oh my God.
You're ruining me.
What was that? Okay.
Polish sausage.
Oh, she got it. She got it.
Funny.
But Jim's original.
Yes.
We stood out in the rain.
We did stand in the rain to eat this.
And ate Jim's original, and
I think we have to mention the reason we stood in the rain is it's not a restaurant. It's like a walk-up venue.
Yeah.
So it had a little awning where you order your food at the window, but we were not the only people standing out in the rain eating eating hot dogs.
Yeah. People were, it wasn't quite pouring down rain. It was sprinkling, starting to get there, but it was normal.
Yeah.
People were just standing there enjoying their hot dogs. So I was just like, okay.
It was the middle of a work day, and there were people in suits standing out there in the rain. Eating hot dogs.
Eating Polish sausage. I have to say that. An enunciation now.
You have to.
Enunciate. Okay. Because
I think we should move on.
Okay. Moving on. Pequod's, Jim's original. Another great place, like if you like to combine, if you're going out, if you want to go to you grab a cocktail after work or it's the weekend and you want to hear some jazz, there's a great spot. And I know locals know this spot, and I'm going to let the tourists know a little bit of secret here. The Green Mill.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Mill is a great place for jazz, for incredibly tasty cocktails, where you can just go and spend an evening and just, I mean, you know, if you're letting the Pequods sit, you can wash it down with a nice cocktail. Or if you do still have the munchies, right next door is an incredible Mexican food place. And I am going to butcher this name. I know you see it on the notes.
I was waiting for you to try to say it. I can't say it either. I already know
I'm
that.
just going to call it Zaragoza.
Okay.
Zaragozas.
Yeah. Berea Zaragoza?
Berea Zaragoza. I know that's not it.
I think that's close.
I think it's pretty close. I'm sorry if you own that place.
But I love Mexican food.
But it's literally right next door. So you can get some great tacos. It was on Netflix's show, The Taco Chronicles.
Which I've never heard of before this moment. And I think I'm not going to now have to watch that later today.
Yeah. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Netflix's Taco Chronicles, because it's a great combination. One of those great combinations of like travel and food. Huh. It's a great show.
Our kind of thing, huh?
Yeah, it should be in your lineup. Another place that should be in the lineup. There's a lot of places. Imagine this: to get sausage. Stop it! There's a lot of places to get sausage in Chicago.
Okay.
In Chicago, one of the best ones, and people, if you go on like Reddit threads, and people argue about it all the time about the best locations and everything. But the one that always mentioned, the one that I've seen with my own eyes, is Gene's Sausage Shop.
Say that 3 times real
fast. I cannot. It's in Lincoln Square. They have 40 varieties of sausage. Plus, they have a liquor and beer, like a second floor, I think, is like liquor and stuff. And then they have a rooftop bar, I believe, where they serve beers and stuff. So you can just kind of go there and do your thing.
Eat sausage, drink beer.
I'm just staring off right now. I'm like, wow. Yeah, eat sausage. Just get a sausage. Put it on a stick and just drink a beer. It's just a carnival for your mouth.
I think we should move on from sausage.
I can't. There's so much sausage to talk about. One place that we... if we're talking about breweries, real quick, breweries. Since we mentioned beer, we'll just move on to breweries. How about that? Goose Island.
Oh, yeah,
Goose Island is right there, the Goose Island Brewery. It's available nationwide if you haven't heard of it. And it might be one of those brands that actually makes it overseas into Australia and the UK. I'm not sure. I might have to check myself on that. But I know at least it's a national brand. Goose Island and Goose Island IPAs and nice fun place where you can go. The thing
about the brewery that we found is they have so many more varieties at the brewery than we can get here. So if you're a Goose Island fan, go check it out.
And go take a tour.
Yeah.
Go take a tour. I was going to say they'll drag you around it. No, I mean, they'll lead you around it. And I don't know if they serve sausage, but they should if they don't. This is the Unscaled Travel Show. We're talking Chicago. Stay with us, even though we're doing like this. All right, we'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long, your host, here with my co-explorer, Amy.
Hi.
Yeah. We're coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're talking about the Windy City, Chicago. Not the other Windy City.
Which
Baltimore. No. We have talked about some landmarks and some fun things to do, like an architectural river cruise. Whew, I am all over the place in my speech today.
You need to do your enunciation practices.
Look, I'm a fellow who loves food, and we were just talking about Chicago's culinary scene, which I think has been brought to the forefront by the show The Bear that's on. It's getting a lot of praise, a lot of love. I love culinary things. I mean, you more so than me, about really focusing in on local cuisines whenever we travel. But I'm the one that always breathes heavy whenever we start talking about. So we were talking about Pequod's Pizza, Jim's Original. We mentioned the Green Mill and Zaragoza's Mexican food. Gene's Sausage Shop. I still can't say it. But right in that little area, it's not food. But I wanted to mention this because in the Lincoln Square area is a great little. That whole area you can just park and walk, or take an Uber and just walk the Lincoln Square area. But there's a cool place called the Artango Bar and Steakhouse, which is Argentinian. It's an Argentinian steakhouse, but you want to go there on the live music nights. Argentinian music with steak. Just that place is popping, baby.
That sounds like fun.
You're going to get a workout while you eat your steak. I don't know how that sounded on the radio, but if you've ever been around and you like lively entertainment with delicious food, that it's Artango, Artango Bar and Steakhouse. That same area, it has nothing to do with food, but the Mers Apothecary is, I think, right next door to one of these places, either Gene's or Artango there. And the apothecary shop has all kinds of soaps and elixirs and different things. And I love when people use words like apothecary in their stores because it's like some kind of weird throwback, like they're going to put leeches on you to make you healthy again or whatever. But they sell like Bath and Body Works. Oh. And I'm sure it's not that. I'm not trying to put them down. I'm saying it's like it continuously pops up on people's lists. And just go pop in and check out and do some window shopping.
Well, I think
things like that.
You mentioned it a few minutes ago, but I think you do a fantastic job of finding new places for us to try, new places to eat. Because when we travel, we try not to eat at like chain restaurants or things that we can get just anywhere. We try to eat things that are like unique to that city. And you always do such a great job of finding these. Aww. And you shared with me just the other day, and you kind of mentioned how you do it, but you go on Reddit.
Yeah.
It never would have occurred to me to go on Reddit.
It's a great resource. It really is, because you're not getting so much stuff now. And I know I'm a travel journalist, and a lot of stuff is regurgitated places. Mm-hmm. And I know we mentioned some very touristy places on here, and especially in any city that we talk to, but we're hopefully talking to people that, if it's not your first time, it's somewhere that isn't so familiar, where you're kind of jaded by the whole city aspect of it. We want to introduce people and ease them into a city, no matter if it's Chicago, New York, or LA. But you also want to kind of speak to people that have been there. And we've been to Chicago a number of times. And so, if you don't have people that in the city that can point out fun little places that are more localized, well, the next best thing is going to a place like a Reddit and seeing actual people that live in these cities talk about their city.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, if you've done all the touristy stuff, come check out, venture out from the city a little bit.
Right.
The city centers, and come to some of these places, and you'll have some fun. So it is one of my great resources to really kind of drill down into Reddit and find out those, God, I hate the words, hidden gems, man.
I know you hate that phrase, but that's so exactly what they are. And there's one that you mentioned because it is the oldest standing brewery in Chicago, and they also do tours of their underground whatever. But you were talking about it, and I think we absolutely have to do this one.
The place is called Thornton Distilling. Thornton Distilling was built in 1857. And they call it the oldest standing brewery. And it's not the oldest brewery that popped up in the city, but it's the oldest one that's still standing to this day. And now I believe their spirit that they produce is called Dead Drop or something of that aspect. But it's more about going and doing a tour at the distilling place, where they will take you. One of their stops is the underground artesian, there you go, limestone filtered well that at one point, that's where they got their water they used in the still. I don't think they use it so much anymore, but you do get to go down there, take pictures and video. It is still running. It's a well water down there, a spring fed place. you still get to kind of go and be a part of that. And, you know, I think it's cool. You get to go underground and see where people,
it makes me think of the Prohibition and Speakeasy era. And
absolutely.
I know Chicago has a lot of speakeasies and mobster history. So if you're into any of that stuff, Chicago is another great city for you because there is a lot of history and there is a lot of places that are still standing from the Prohibition era.
And it's crazy that we're talking to Chicago and I'm a history nerd and I'm not even talking about the history.
Right.
There's so much in there and it rivals Vegas in terms of like, if you enjoy mobsters and, you know, the whole Al Capone, there you go, Al Capone from Chicago and all of that stuff, then there's that world, that layer of intrigue that you can dive into. And they have, you know, mob style museums and all these historic places where all these things happen. I'm about to nerd out here, but I mean, we're not even getting into all that, but there you have that entire layer of history and aspect too. But it is a great sports city.
Yeah.
Chicago Cubs, if you love baseball, if you like the NFL, there's the Chicago Bears.
There's more than one baseball team.
Oh, we always forget about it.
We don't always forget about it.
Most people always forget that the Chicago White Sox also are in Chicago on the south side. And you actually went and toured.
I did. That's why I can't forget about it, because my first introduction to Chicago baseball was a private tour of the White Sox stadium and field. And it was pretty cool. I mean, I enjoy baseball. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but being able to go out there and walk on the field, it was just me and like 3 other people. Pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, I very vividly recall that Chicago has 2 baseball teams.
You know, and I think, I mean, the Chicago White Sox actually won a World Series in the modern era before the Cubs did. They beat in 2005. They swept my Houston Astros. I mean, beat them like scalded dogs in the World Series. And since then, they've just been putrid. So I think people often forget about the White Sox. And another thing that I think helps the Cubs stand out is Wrigleyville. Absolutely.
I mean, we went to Wrigleyville to see a Cubs game together. It's a totally different vibe. It really is. The White Sox Stadium it's kind of in a residential area, but it's very much more of a more modern stadium, whereas Wrigleyville, it's just this like throwback. It literally is surrounded by residential houses on every side pretty much. And you just walk through this neighborhood and suddenly you're at this old stadium, and it's just a really cool vibe there. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, just the shops and the eateries and everything at Wrigley Field, taking you out to a ball game, you know, and they won a World Series in 2016, I believe. So there's a lot of fun, a lot of history. So if you love sports and you like the Bears, I mean, they're there too, I guess. Or hockey, Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks. There you go. Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Long, here with my co-host and co-explorer, Amy.
Hi.
We're coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, the home of the, I don't know, something. The home of the really, really good time.
Did you forget where you were going with
that?
The
home of the Whopper. We're in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're talking about Chicago, Illinois, all the wonderful things you can do there, things you can visit, places to see, food to eat. And we were just talking about how it's a great sports town as well. And we mentioned all the teams. And I totally forgot to mention the Bulls. Some guy named Mikey Jordan, I think he played there for a while, did some things. But it's a great city for sports. They also have soccer and different things like that. But and that kind of ties into family and really how family friendly Chicago is. And I think it's one of those cities that for the last few years it's gotten a bad rap. Some things happen in there, but for the most part, Chicago really is a family friendly city as far as the attractions and different things that are offered for people that are coming into the city or people that call it home day to day. A lot of those areas, we mentioned Wrigleyville and the sports and Navy Pier and Millennium Park and different areas. But another great one is Lincoln Park Zoo.
Right.
The Lincoln Park Zoo is 100% free. You can give donations as you walk in. I think that's great. But through an endowment, it is free to all visitors.
Which I can't even think of another free park or a free zoo that we've been to.
Yeah, not too many.
I was surprised the day that we went to the zoo, and it there are no. I think there may be gates, but they were open. Like you can just walk in and out, and multiple entrances. And we had a couple of hours to kill, so we just kind of wandered around the zoo, and
it's a great zoo.
It's a great zoo, yeah.
It's a really well laid out zoo, and the whole Lincoln Park area is just you'll see people out on blankets, having picnics, riding bikes, different things like that in the whole Lincoln Park area. We mentioned Wrigleyville. And of course, there's places like the Art Institute of Chicago, which if you love art, they have 300,000 different works from all over the world right there. It's a great art city as well. One of the fun things to do, if you catch it during the summertime, is Art at the Mart. Art at the Mart is like a digital art projection where they send up a projection on the side of the merchandise mart.
Which is a huge building.
It's like 2.5 acres long on the side of that faces the river. So you sit across from the mart on the river that's all built up now, the river walk down there, and watch these beautiful contemporary artworks be projected onto this building. And it's a great way to spend. I mean, it lasted a good while, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they do it pretty regular. I think weekly during the summertime.
Yeah, I think during the summer it's every week, and then I think at other times of the year they also do it, like around the holidays, things like that. But I think it was like a 30-minute show, but they maybe do it once or twice a night. Some nights, other nights it's just the one time. But I remember we were there and we saw these people sitting, and we're like, what's going on? And we kind of asked somebody, and they're like, oh, they're about to do Art on the Mart. And we're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no, it's really, really cool. And so we just sat down because we were like, they set it to music. Don't know what this is, but we want to see it.
It's really, really cool to see. And so you saw, I mean, the sun's gone down, obviously. You see lots of families out there really just enjoying the evening. And the river walk itself is beautiful. They've built it up over the last few years. Lots of eateries, lots of things to do, whether you have kids or it's like a couple's night out or whatever. It's a really great place to kind of walk around.
Do you remember the last time we were there, the day we were leaving, they were having, I can't remember, it has an official name, but there's like a day where people take their sailboats through the river, through the city, and because all the bridges are drawbridges, and it was almost like a parade of sailboats on the river, and they raised all the drawbridges for them to come through, which was not good for us because we were trying to get to the airport, but it was really neat to see all these sailboats coming down the river through the city.
Yeah. And speaking of around St. Patrick's Day, they do the river green,
right?
So they turn the river green, and it's and even the river itself, the architectural wonder that's the river. They've reversed the river, years ago and everything, and had it and cleaned it up and all that. But I wanted to touch base back on the art. Scene because one of our favorite places to stay in the past is the ultra luxurious Langham, Chicago.
Right. Love this hotel. It is I will say it is for sure the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at. My favorite hotel I've ever stayed at. It is beautiful. Love the Langham brand, but this particular property is just fantastic. And they have so much art in the hotel. I think it says there's over 150 artist pieces inside the hotel, just on display in the lobby and the restaurants. back several years ago when we stayed there. At that time, I remember the front desk, because we were commenting, there's these gorgeous glass sculptures hanging from the ceiling in the lobby. Do you remember? They're like blue and I remember commenting on it, and the lady at the front desk said at that time they had one of the largest art collections in the city.
Wow.
So, like, you just don't expect that in a hotel, but gorgeous hotel. Even if you're not staying there, just go in and walk around, go have a drink at the bar, and just check out the art inside there.
Yeah, I was thinking like most of the art that's in hotels or in motels is like the same stuff
good.
you see in the nail salons. It's just not good. It's kind of
not good. No, but the totally different story.
Not even Thomas Kincaid. It's like Tom Comcade or something. I don't know. But if you like art, the Langham in itself, they have incredible restaurants inside. They put something in the air.
Yeah,
they have a signature smell.
Yes,
like me.
And I love it because their signature color is this baby pink, and it has the classic. I want to say it's a Rolls Royce that's pink.
Yeah,
that sits outside.
They put it outside. Yeah,
it sits outside the front door. So I have some great pictures of that car. It truly is like my favorite property we've ever stayed at.
Yeah, it is. I'm thinking about it now. We've, not to brag, we've stayed in some pretty luxurious places, and even you've gone to the Langham in New York.
Yeah.
And it's still the one in Chicago.
Yeah, the one in Chicago is still my favorite. And fun fact, going back to what we were talking about earlier, the Marina Towers right next to the Langham. So that's when we finally realized what it was. I always thought it was some kind of office building, but no, we were at the Langham, look out the window, and like, oh, it's apartments, and those levels underneath it are their parking garage.
Yeah, parking garage. Yeah. I remember I was staring like just a weirdo out the window. I had my face pressed up against the glass. I was like, what is this building? And finally you were like, put some pants on and get away from the window. I was like, okay. But also Chicago's many just incredible neighborhoods. We've mentioned, again, Wrigleyville, places like that, but they have a great Chinatown. Places like Bucktown and Wicker, and even famous places like Hyde Park. Hyde Park is really culturally diverse. It's on the south side. That's where you're going to find like the University of Chicago. Frank Lloyd Wright has some works in that area. The Museum of Science and Industry. So if you really love, this is a great place to go. The Museum of Science and Industry, which was, of course, the site of the 1893 World's Columbian Expedition. You looked at me. You looked at me blank there. You don't know the 1893.
I don't. I apologize.
World Fair there, and also like places like Andersonville. Andersonville, tons of great, like independently owned shopping stores and places to eat, and a great place to get some beer at Hop Leaf, right there in Andersonville. So you can. Chicago, I will reiterate again, man, it is one of those places for a major city, for one of our largest cities in the United States. I think it is criminally underrated as far as a tourist destination.
Right.
And I know they do receive their fair share of tourism, but oftentimes they are overshadowed, by New York, by LA, by places like Miami because of the beaches and the sunshine and things like that. Chicago is, I think, a great city.
Well, and I know several people that live in the Chicago area, a few that do live outside and some that live in Chicago proper. And I didn't realize this, but there's a series of television shows on now, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, I believe. They do
Chicago Library.
Well, these shows do actually shoot in Chicago, and one of my friends that lives there says she frequently will walk outside and they're shooting on her street. So you never know. You go to Chicago, they might be shooting an episode, and you get to be an extra in the background.
And you're going to be famous. Look at that. You heard it here first. Go to Chicago, get famous. Thanks for joining us for yet another episode. We're so glad that you did, and we will see you guys next time. Of course we will. It's Unscaled Travel Show.